Mark Cowbell.
Hi. I should reword that. So, if you've been to these things before, which I imagine you have, you've heard me scream and rant. And today I want to keep it a little bit simpler. And in light of the recent civic election and the leadership race with the NDP, I think it's time we talk about leadership, or the lack thereof. You see, we have a would-be premier right now who believes that a form of incarceration is how you help people. And I would offer that if at any point someone says that you can remove someone's rights to cure them, you should be very suspicious. But what we have from the very beginning, Carol James, the finance minister at the time, admitted that the Ministry of Mental Health and Addictions was never meant to last. It's not supposed to be around. The government at the time believed that this would go away on its own. So they never really took the leadership to end it on their own. They thought it would just fizzle out. And here we are now, approaching the 7th year, with no sign of anything changing whatsoever. So I ask you, where is the leadership? What has John Horgan done? How is it that Adrian Dix can say nothing? And then point his finger at Sheila Malkinson and say, oh, that's your file. And then they can turn around and point their fingers somewhere else and say, well, actually, you know, we're doing all we can, but we can't do enough, and and all that bullshit, right? There is no excuse whatsoever. So we have an opportunity right now. We have a new mayor, right? We have what's going to be a new premier, and it ought to be up to us, because clearly the leadership is here, not in here, right? It's drug users, it's moms, it's family, it's frontline workers. They are showing the leadership. Let me tell you a story. So when Dave Barrett, the first NDP premier of this province, when he came in, am I the only one that remembers Socreds? Please tell me some people still remember the fucking Socreds. Okay, so the bureaucracy was full of Socreds, right? So this guy wants to get housing done, but he knows the bureaucracy is not going to do it, just like now. Who was in government before the NDP? The Liberals. That's who's actually in the bones of government. So what Dave Barrett did is he made a BC Housing. Now you say what you will about BC Housing right now, but the fact is that when it was formed to undercut and go around those elements of government that were stalling life-saving services for people. That's what they did. They just went around it. That took leadership. Where's the leadership now? That didn't crack the sun in half. That didn't cause the moon to fall. It was actually a very simple thing. They made a different system, and that system served people and it helped them. Point blank. That was the only purpose. And it did that. Right now, we have municipalities all over the province who are flouting public health orders, who are getting in the way and actively obstructing health services from opening in their community. The bureaucracy of cities in Victoria is a little bit different, but you read here, you go up island just a smidge, and you will see that the stigma and discrimination that people face comes right down to the services that help them. And until this government takes the leadership, and I'm going to say it, to clean house and to take the steps that are necessary to actually get this problem solved, leadership will remain here. It won't be there. And so our job now is to insist, to obstruct, to get in the way of, to disrupt, to not allow to function properly those elements of our system that prevent life-saving services from operating. And if that's a city hall, if that's a ministry office, if that's VHA, you clog that up with your bodies. That's classic. That's how it works. have done less. Right? This is as much a health crisis as it is a matter of people's civil rights. Much of what we accomplish, much of what we dream for, is the removal of terrible laws and policy. Don't put other shitty ones in its place. We're going to remove these, and then we're going to actually empower communities with the resources they need to do what you know has to be done, because they're not doing it. They have the power and the authority to do what has to happen, and they won't do it. So that means we have to do it, and we must insist on it. Thank you.